So you end up probably making 500-600 decisions a game. I'm Ben Whitehouse.
Rugby, as I say, you're in a stadium with 30,000 people.
Happened or hasn't happened. He's either offside or he is offside. Much more black and white.
If someone speaks to me like that, they will take no further part in this game.
We don't need millimetre perfection.
Fucking Wayne Rooney and people like that absolutely calling
In their faces.
Yeah, what a dog was.
It's incredible at that.
So how does that feel?
The biggest thing in the world.
Have the respect to look at me when I'm talking to you, please.
But the pressure still feels the same. And it was just like preparation, attitude, communication, evaluation. So like in a game, like what can I control? Like, yeah, you're still a rugby fan. Like I've got into refereeing because I was a fan of rugby.
How to start becoming a referee?
It's what we're at the moment where we're trying to improve like recruitment and retention of referees.
So I used the word mind coach earlier, and you said, no, I'm not a mind. I don't like that. I don't like that. Tell me what else you do now.
I probably don't like it because I feel probably I'm not like well trained enough or educated to call myself a mind coach or a mindset coach. But no, I sort of, whilst referee, and I've always liked speaking. Yeah, it's part of my job. And someone asked me to do a couple of talks and mainly around refereeing, but sort of decision making and communication and stuff. And I went and did that. And really enjoyed that. And then I got invited to speak at a couple of things, just like voluntarily, really. And then it sort of like slowly just grew from there. It's not a massive thing at the moment, but it's something I'm trying to transition into.
We'll put a link.
Yes,
if you can get a link over.
Yeah,
we'll
perfect.
Put it up here, and we'll put that out there.
But yeah, no, I've enjoyed it, and I try to stay in my lane as best as I can. You know, lessons that I've learned from the police, and also lessons I've learned from refereeing around decision making under pressure, dealing with setbacks, communication under pressure.
Your decision making under pressure is second to none. You know what I mean? That's one thing that you will.
It's interesting though, like. When I was in the police, a decision meant sometimes life or death, or going to jail, going to prison. Yeah. Whereas now I'm worrying about like a knock on, or a forward pass, you know, a game. But the pressure still feels the same. Like for me, like pressure is so situational. Like your pressure, I might think, what are you stressed about that for? Yeah. But for you, it's like the biggest thing in the world, and you might be thinking, you know, friends of mine, oh, it's only bloody knock on, calm down. It's like, well, in that environment.
Within business, you know, I've learned, and I've said it in other podcasts, is if it's outside of my control, I don't worry about it.
Yeah, so we talk massively about that within rugby, or certainly I like to, and also within business, is like just control the controllables and let the uncontrollable slide away, because there's nothing you can do about them. They happen.
Yeah, exactly. You know, my wife, I've been in the car with her and somebody's flicked me for me doing nothing wrong. She's going, you did nothing wrong there. I'm going, 10 minutes later, she's still going on about it. I don't care.
Yeah. I still probably am a little bit like that. But I'm probably better within, you know, that professional environment of controlling the emotions a little bit better. And I like making, like, before games, and this is why I talk to some businesses around, like, going into a game or going into whatever it might be, like a board meeting or going into a negotiation with a client, is talking around, like, almost writing yourself a list, like what do you think the things are that you can control that might happen in this meeting.
Kind of like the Eisenhower, isn't it? Eisenhower matrix. Do you know that? You know, if it's important.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's kind of that.
And then you sort of go in prepared. So like in a game, like what can I control? And I talked around, like, P.A.C.E is like the acronym that I sort of like created when I talked, and it was just like preparation, attitude, communication, evaluation. Like they're the 4 things that I can control. Yeah. I can control my preparation, and you can apply this to anyone, because my preparation will be different to yours, different to my friends who's a referee, but it's doing what's right for you. So I know for me, I can't. Over preparing boggles my mind, but I have to do some preparation for a game. Whereas other referees need maybe 2 days worth of game preparation. And then communication was how I communicate with players. I can control that very much so. My attitude going into games, you know, being positive, stop worrying about like what's happened last week.
You know, that's a good thing, you know. So let's just imagine now you've had an argument with a missus or something, right? And then you go into a game, you know. How difficult is it for you not to carry that anger into a game?
Yeah, like that's the same as any job. It's the same as any job, and I agree. Like
But I see lots of what we call mood hoovers. Somebody will come in, and stuff like that.
Oh, we got enough of that as well.
But with you know, that could be televised. You know, it could be, as I say, you're in a stadium with 30,000 people.
Yeah, and I think like that would be probably something like an uncontrollable. I'd put in like an uncontrollable thing. Like we got the kids now, obviously. Like it. A lot of my refereeing is in different countries just because of the neutrality side of it. Yeah. But I do derbies within Wales, and like. For example, like an uncontrollable for me could be the kids didn't sleep last night because they were up ill. Well, you know, I can't avoid that. I can't just say, sorry guys, you know, they're 5 and 3 or 3 today. She has happy birthday.
Happy birthday, yeah. I seen all the cars outside his house yesterday. Like, Jesus, do you have a party yesterday?
You didn't have the invite. No, so like, yeah, if he or she was ill during the night, I can't just say, oh, sort yourself out. Like, you've got to get in there. But then that could affect, well, there's nothing I can do about it. Yeah. I'm in this now. I've just got to deal with it as best as I can.
Yeah, it's crazy, you know, you're saying about decisions and stuff like that. My job now, it's got to be, I make about 3 or 4 critical decisions a day.
Yeah, it's funny, like in refereeing, like people talk about like the decisions we made and they say, oh, you give 18 penalties in that game and you give 10 knock-ons and you give 30 line-outs. And I was like, okay, so 50, 60, whatever it is, decisions. And like, yeah, but you're not counting. So we had 212 rucks in the game. Yeah. You're not counting the other sort of 200 rucks that I didn't make a decision on, but I saw this player here. Did he affect the speed of the ball? He was the wrong side. Did he affect the speed of the ball? Is he offside? Yes, he's offside, but the ball's gone that way, so it's had zero effect on play. They were never going that. You know, those micro decisions that people don't see.
So I always look at the referees in football, and I think they could learn a lot from the referee in rugby. What do you think the referee or just the sport in general could learn from football?
Learn from football?
From football.
Very good question.
Thank you.
It's much more black and white, I think football is. Like, it's either happened or it hasn't happened. Yeah. That's the feeling I get from it. Yeah, there's advantage, but ultimately, like in refereeing, we apply that. There's sometimes that grey area. Yeah. Where it's like, oh, it's happened, but it hasn't had an effect on play, so I'll play on. Whereas in football, it's either happened or hasn't happened. He's either offside or he is offside. If the ball obviously goes nowhere near him.
So again, the TMO it's great. The way that it's communication, because communication is a massive thing with any business and in sport as well. And I think the VAR's failed with that dismally. It's getting better. Yeah. But I think more people now are thinking that VAR spoiled the game. Rather than when you look at rugby and they go, the TMO has actually enhanced the game.
Yeah, it's a fine balance. Yeah. It's a real fine balance. We've been doing TMO for 20 years.
That long?
Yeah, maybe a bit longer.
I think it started in rugby league first, did it not?
I'm not sure, but it's obviously been in longer than I've been refereeing. I've been refereeing since 2009. Yeah. It's been a lot longer than that. But I think with football, like they craved accuracy. Yeah. When it wasn't there. Yeah. But now they're getting accuracy to the millimeter. Yeah. And they don't like it.
I know.
Which I think that's the correct way to have it. We don't need millimeter perfection. So there has to be some kind of like window of grace. So like cricket do it, don't they, with umpires call. Yeah. We do it to a certain extent with on-field decision, try or no try. So if there isn't unequivocal evidence to say the try has been scored or not to overturn the decision by the referee, then we stick with the referee's decision. And cricket's the same. Umpires made a call of not out. Yeah. So unless a certain portion of the ball is hitting a certain portion of the stump, then it's not out.
Because one thing I noticed, I was watching the Australian Open, the tennis, and now they've got on the sides of the post, it just goes red if it goes out. And I never seen that before. So they takes people out of jobs.
But again,
it's accurate and nobody questioned it. Yeah, nobody questioned it.
It's interesting as well because there is a level of leeway, should we say, with technology like that. Yeah. I can't definitely speak for the Australian Open one, but I know like with the LBW, for argument's sake, like the ball tracking system, it's never 100% right. So that was Snicko down in Ash's different system again. But like there is a level of like the ball tracking is not 100% right 100% of the time.
Yeah.
You know, it's only percentages, but there is percentages. We tried one in rugby, ball tracking technology, and we realized that it's probably not working as well as it should work. So we're always trying to tinker with things. And yeah, fan engagement would be the biggest thing. Just to go back to your point, to ask the question the other way or answer the question the other way. Whereas I watch football and as a fan, I just think to myself, I'm watching the game and I'm going, I don't know what's happening here now.
Yeah.
Like he's blown his whistle. What the hell's that for? In the stand. In watching it at home, it's a little bit better because, you know, pundits are adding colour to it. But when you're sat in the stadium and there's a VAR decision or the referee's blown his whistle, often like on the screens, they never play replays.
Yeah.
Whereas in rugby, we're really good at that.
Entice.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see that.
know.
But then, you know, like you've got like... People can have a beer while watching rugby. You can't even show a bottle of beer. You know, you're in the...
Oh, you mean the posh seats, then, you love,
Posh seats. I'm actually debating...
Showing your colours now.
I'm actually debating on getting a box. We tried to get a box for this year, but we couldn't get one, so I'm going to try and get it for next year.
Okay, space.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll give you a shout. We'll definitely go down. But, you know, it's... I kind of think that maybe the communication in the football is not so much because the players... give the refs so much of that, and they're afraid, you can't have the swearing, you can't have this.
We were talking about it yesterday. In my daughter's birthday, typically the men were in the front room watching Liverpool Man City. But we talked exactly about that. Is like it's great the fan cam now. The ref cam that they've put on, and like people are really enjoying it.
Yeah.
But they got to be careful what they put because the players say things back. But I actually think probably the referees say back as well because it's the norm. You're not being recorded. You know, we speak off podcasts and we'll, you know, swear in the conversations. They're probably so used to that now, not being recorded or not being broadcasted. They probably are still communicating.
Do you know what? I can remember playing school football, right? And the ref would come in and he'd go, boys, and you swear at me, you're off. Yeah. Right? And you couldn't give them any. But then the higher up they go, the more chip they... I've seen Wayne Rooney and people like that absolutely calling
in their faces.
Yeah, what a dog would.
It's incredible that you know, you understand them turning a blind... I say understand, it's wrong, but you sort of understand if they...
But there's videos of you and you got people like Alan Wynne-Jones or somebody like that who was like, you know, up here somewhere and you go... Don't chops to me. I'm the ref, and I'm sorry, ref. Sorry, sir.
I will say I have been scared in those moments. Yeah.
You know, some of them are just phenomenal. You know, and it's like there's some great ones. So how does that feel in that moment? Are you thinking, do you know what? I'm having a bit of a stinker here.
Will swallow you up. I just...
How do you deal with that? How do you have the mental capacity to deal with?
Yeah. So going back to that Claremont game, there was a lot of things going on, but there were a few moments where I was on the screen looking at things and I almost thought to myself, I don't know what's going on here. Wow. Like, I want to be off this field. If someone had offered me like a sub, maybe 30, 40 minutes into that game, I'd have gone, I'm done.
You should have pretended to pull a hammy or something.
The damage is already done at that point. But yeah, I'd have taken it because
all you can do is learn from it.
Yeah, and that again, going back to what I said. Now, if I have a bad game, it's like right, great learning moment, and I think that's the same in business. Just like we used to say in the police, you make a mistake, the best thing you can do is right, put your hands up. Can you justify it within like the national decision making model we used to work off? Can you justify it? And if you can, then you actually haven't got an issue.
I think with the police, they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't. They've got to try and do their jobs. And then the people, you see some of these videos, you see videos online people are posting and they purposely trying to wind up the police. Yeah. And I'm thinking, what is this? Why are you getting out of this? Yeah. Why would you wake up in the morning going, I'm going to go and wind up a car?
Yeah. I agree. But everywhere we're in that moment where you see videos, not just the police, but people going into supermarkets and pulling pranks on people, and then there's someone standing around the corner with a camera because they're looking for someone to clock them or, shout and swear at them, and that's the world we live in at the moment. Because they actually know that the reaction videos are probably more successful than the actual drone videos.
So that's a question which can lead me on quite tenuously. Are there players out there who purposely want to try and wind you up in some way, shape, or form?
Probably.
I don't know if that would be beneficial to them.
No, I think...
Or just... Because again, there's certain referees of certain parts of the game which they are sticklers to, and you may say before the game, or this is what I do, you stick to this, boys, and you'll be all right.
Yeah.
Are there players there who just push it to the extreme, just to wind you up?
The best players in the world are the ones that know where the line.
Adapt the game.
Yeah, they know where the line is,
Yeah.
and they push that line as far, and maybe they overstep it sometimes. Like, they're the best players in the world. Like, some players will infringe on a colossal scale, and very obvious. But the best players in the world, like your McCaws, Tippericks, Warburtons, like, just to name a couple off the top of my head, they're the ones that knew exactly where the line was, and when they were pushing it, they knew they were also pushing it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a lot of the times it wasn't like oh, I didn't realize it was off my feet there. I didn't realize I wasn't allowed to play the ball. They did know. Those are the type of players that knew exactly where the line were.
There's been any moments when you've been on the pitch and somebody's made a try or just done something and you've gone, wow, that was like absolutely.
Yeah, with that, I can't, there's been a few moments in games where, you're still a rugby fan. Like, I've got into refereeing because I was a fan of rugby. So, there's some tries happen or kicks or catches happen, and I'm like, that's unbelievable. And I was on the pitch to witness it. Like, I remember New Zealand, Ireland, I was on touch for it in 2016 out in Chicago, and like, it was in Soldier Field in the NFL stadium. The Chicago Bears NFL stadium was on touch for it, and like, some of the stuff that was going on there, like, I was just like, first of all, there's two of the best teams in the world, and like, I'm on the pitch for it, and just some of the stuff that was happening, it was just like incredible.
Yeah. So if somebody's starting out in business, what transferable skills have you got as a international rugby referee to a business owner, would you say?
Yeah, so for me, it's probably what I do at the moment when I go into businesses and talk. First of all, I stay in my lane. I try not to speak around things that I have no prior knowledge or no like life experience knowledge about. So for me, the main things were, first of all, it was like decision making. I thought that's the obvious one. Decision making whilst I was a referee, as well as police officer when I was TMOing. I thought that my whole life has been around making decisions whilst under pressure. Yeah. In the police, it was like life and death, taking children from families if they're, proper decisions. And whilst in refereeing, high pressure decisions, but maybe not with that life, and it might be life and death for some, but not life and death, but all decision making under pressure. So I thought that would be the niche. And then I talked to a guy, and he said, well, what about the communication? You've obviously, the soft skills, you've obviously done a lot of work on that. So I thought, I'll have a think about what I do in rugby, and read a few books and along the way, and I read a great book bought by Chris Voss. I don't know if you've read it, called Never Split the Difference.
No.
He's a FBI negotiator, so anyone wants to read that, it's a spot on read. And he's an FBI negotiator, and long story short, is he basically is trying to teach everyone that life is one big negotiation. So everything he did was negotiation, and here's how you can apply it to life. In rugby, they want me to be predictable. So basically, what a team is prepared for, Ben is hot on blowing the whistle when holding on because he wants to give the turnover. That's what Ben's hot on. Yeah. If I then turn up on a Saturday and don't do that, all the teams are going, hang on now, you change it. We've prepared for this all week and you've changed completely. So being predictable. And what I said, a company that I do a little bit of some things for, Certus Property Consultancy, is like I said to them, is like, when we're dealing with outside agencies, be predictable. Yeah. If we say you're going to call someone on a Monday, call them on a Monday. Yeah, if we say we're going to call them on a Tuesday, call them on a Tuesday. Don't wait. Even if it's to say, look, what we talked about isn't ready, I'll update you tomorrow. Even that's fine, but don't not call them. That's a double negative, so that doesn't make sure you don't fail to call them. Yeah. And then the other thing about being predictable and being open and honest is another thing I said to them, was around if you're going through a deal and something happens at the end, be honest with these people. Like if it's a valuation, and they want I don't know $1 million, they want it at $1 million, and you're looking at going, this is nowhere near $1 million. Yeah. Don't just to get the work say, I think it can be $1 million, and then actually then pull it back, because all you're doing is kicking a can down the road. Absolutely. And it's the same in refereeing with us, around decision decisions to select people or not select people. I've been on the arse end of things when I think I should be having a game and my manager is saying, oh, absolutely you should. I don't know what's going on here. Whereas actually I know in the background, he's had a conversation with someone to say, I don't think Ben's right for that particular game. Well, no, be honest. Tell me, because I can deal with that. Like I'm a grown man. Like I've 10 years professional. If you tell me you don't think you're good enough, we can argue about it or have a good discussion about why I think I'm good for it and why you think I'm not good for it. But be honest. Be honest. Stop kicking the can down the road because it's someone I talked with Jim Carrey, Yes Man, the film. So it's a real comedic, but a real good lesson is like the yes is such a short-term fix for everything, but long-term causes you twice as much pain. And you're saying yes or sorting the problem or brushing over the problem now, but you're just making a problem 6 times harder in a year's time.
Yeah, absolutely. Confront something, see it, be completely open and honest. So what's next for you, and what's next for refereeing? You know, is there another? Can they up it a notch? Can they get any better? I personally think that, you know, rugby union refereeing is absolutely top class in all its format. You know, the TMO and, you know, the what's your thing, the
the bunker,
the bunker and all the bits and pieces. I think it's great. How can it improve? Can it improve?
Great question. So I think it can, because we're not at 100% accuracy, so we can move closer towards.
We want to be 100%.
No, but I think what we're really good, or what we're good at in rugby, is when we talk about decisions being accurate, we do add a level of materiality, we call it. Does it have a material effect in the game? So we know it's happened. We know the guy is offside, but it's had no effect because the ball's gone the other way, like I said earlier. So we don't class that as a wrong decision. But we operate probably around the, I think it's like mid 80% accuracy, decision accuracy in a game, and that includes like non-decision, so things that we've missed. So I think that's a pretty good number overall. You know, you got 30 players running around, the ball moving. You know, you got a ruck including 6 players, a scrum including 16 players, line out with 14 players plus. So there's a lot going on. So I think that's a pretty good number, but I think we can still boost that number up. How we do that will be interesting. There's lots of talk around shape of the game at the moment, how it's being played, how they want us to referee it. So that'll be interesting in a couple of years with the World Cup coming up. And then with myself, what's next? Good question. Like I said on LinkedIn last year, I said I'm very aware that I am in the latter half of the second half is what I said on LinkedIn. I'm in the second half of my career. You know, not many referees do more than 20 years, or if any, do 20 years as a professional. So I know I'm in that second half, and that second half could end at the end of this year. It could end 2 years, it could end in 8 years. So that's why I've probably transitioned, or had a look at transitioning into things that I can juggle alongside rugby. So the going into business consultancy and things like that.
Okay, so Ben, what piece of advice would you give for somebody wanting to be a referee? Number one, and number two, what piece of advice would you give for our next guest?
From a refereeing point of view, first of all, I'll say is like, almost don't believe your own hype, and then don't take the criticisms from people that don't matter.
Where would somebody start? Where would somebody go?
Okay, that will go that far back.
So, because I wouldn't know how to start becoming a referee.
It's probably a really good point. It's probably a really good point where we're at the moment, where we're trying to improve like recruitment and retention of referees. So it's a really good point. So you would start by doing a level 1 referee course at your local club. Online on the WRU website, there's links on there. Become a referee, I think it is, and there's a level 1 referee course. It's as simple as go into I think it's maybe 1 day or over 2 days, 2 afternoons, where you're taken through the basic laws of the game, and that entitles you then to ref junior rugby.
It's giving you a good life.
Yeah.
So you could highly recommend it.
Yeah, as long as
he's managed to renovate a house in COVID, right? So just be aware of that.
It was cheaper back then. I wouldn't be able to afford to do it now.
Exactly.
It's given me a fantastic life. You know, I've travelled to countries I've never ever would have thought of. I've been to events that I never would have thought I'd been able to go to. And
do did they fly you nice, or are you in cattle class?
No, they fly us nice.
So you walk left?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, no.
Oh, for internationals.
No, then.
For
That is just
international.
worth it for that.
Yeah,
like,
it
if you
is.
turn left,
Yeah,
not right.
it is nice. I think.
Question, I just remember the question I was going to ask you earlier. Something that's bugged me over the years. When I was a kid, right, you'd have to actually compete for the scrum. When you put the ball in, it would go in the middle, and you'd have to try and
get it against the head.
I just does my head, and they just go like that, and it just...
Interesting. I think France, the top 14 in France, brought it in this year that they were going to go after crooked feet.
Yeah.
Because they want the contest.
Yeah.
And my figures are going to be completely wrong here, but it was something like in the opening round, there was like 26 free kicks for not straight. Not
so
straight. You've got a choice then. You either double down, keep going the next week, or you say, actually, lads, that was a farce. We can't happen. And to be fair, the teams adapted pretty well.
Really?
Compare that to football, mind. We were talking about this yesterday, where I think a couple of years ago they started giving yellow cards for a bit of back chat or encroaching the referees. And two things, you don't really see the yellow cards happening anymore. So you either one or two things happening. They're not giving the yellow cards, or the level of abuse has died down. But because we don't have the microphones, it's very hard to hear what people are saying.
Okay. And your bit of advice for our next guest?
Control the controllables.
Oh, I like that.
Let the uncontrollables slide away. There's nothing you could do about them. And focus on what you can control. Focus on yourself.
Ben, thank you very much. It's been great.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate.